Well, today we're getting our accreditation from a national accreditation program in emergency management. We're one of about 30 states that's been accredited nationally, and one of the commissioners is coming today to present the accreditation to us. Well, I think it's important if you're going to have a profession, and we consider emergency management a profession, that you have to have standards. And we've met those standards, and that means a lot to us as an organization that we have in fact met those standards. Well, essentially here at the State Emergency Operations Center, we manage the state response to an event. And normally events are handled at the local level, but they often get tapped out in terms of their resources and their capabilities, and they're going to have to ask for assistance. And so they're going to ask us for assistance here at the State Emergency Operations Center. And we have about 60 state agencies and voluntary organizations that are involved in that process, that have a tremendous amount of capability and resources, technical assistance, that sort of thing. And we will coordinate that out of here. And whatever they need at the local level, we'll find it, whether it's technical assistance, a commodity, piece of equipment, and that sort of thing. So we'll make sure that they get it from somewhere. And it may not be from the state. It might be from other states under the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, or it also might be from the federal government if the event is large enough. Well, I think the big impact of the community, I think the big message is that we have been accredited and as a state, and that basically should tell the citizens of the state that the emergency management program at the state level is functioning and functioning well. Really, it's been a number of years. The last really large-scale one was Hurricane Floyd, which was in 1999. And we've had a number of smaller events since then. You know, we've had a number of fires, we've had smaller hurricanes, Hurricane Gaston, and some of those several years ago. But we fortunately have not had a big event for a long time, and I think that's probably another reason why it's very important to have the accreditation, is because we haven't gone through that experience, so that we've at least made sure that our systems are ready to operate when we need to. Yeah, one of the things I think is very, very important, we all think is very important in emergency management, is that there is a partnership with the public. We need to stay in touch with the public when something happens. We need to let them know what they need to do, and they need to pay attention to that message when we put that out in terms of what they need to do. They need to stay prepared. They need to take a look at their own personal plans, you know, where they might have to go get sheltered, making sure that they've got their medications, their eyeglasses, their prescriptions, and that sort of thing in the event that they've got to leave their home for an extended period of time if something does in fact happen.
And just get situated for the ceremony. Thank you. And just letting everybody know that we're awaiting one of our speakers, so feel free to talk amongst yourself for the next 5 minutes or so. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the South Carolina Emergency Management Division. We're so very happy that you could all join us today for the Emergency Management Accreditation Program ceremony for the reaccreditation of the South Carolina Emergency Management Division. And as many of you know, normally I've got like a green helmet and a green vest on. My name is Justin Keir. Normally I'm the Citizen Corps Coordinator along with Howard Van Dyke, but today I'm going to be your Master of Ceremonies. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let you guys determine that one. But in all seriousness, we're here today for a great honor. The Emergency Management Accreditation Program, also known as EMAP, is honoring SCEMD with the milestone achievement of reaccreditation. For those of you that may not know, EMAP is a nationally recognized voluntary review process that demonstrates an emergency management system meets all national standards. EMAP is the only accreditation program for emergency management programs. So in other words, this is a pretty big deal. So let's take a little history lesson. Our division gained full national accreditation through EMAP in 2008, which is a pretty good distinction back in 2008 because that put us among only 20 states within the United States with that honor. In 2010, SCEMD was recognized by EMAP for exemplary practices in emergency management. We fast forward to today, 2013, and EMAP is once again recognizing the work done by our SCEMD family. In many ways, today is the next chapter for our division. And through today's ceremony, SCEMD hopes to recognize the hard work, the passion, and the dedication of each and every one of you that led to this distinguished honor. Now, to speak more about this accomplishment, at this time I ask you to join me in welcoming the Deputy Adjutant General, Major General Les Eisner.
On behalf of General Livingston, the Adjutant General, and myself, today's a great day. It shows clearly that the leadership in South Carolina in the emergency management business always strives to excel. We want to make sure we're ready to support the citizens of South Carolina for the many disasters we may face. And even despite the fact Mother Nature's been relatively good to us over the last few years, the leadership within the state, and hats off to Kim and his folks, want to excel. We want to make sure that we've got all the things polished and all the corners sharpened so we will be prepared to support our great citizens of this great state. So again, it's my honor and a humble privilege to be here. I look forward to the presentation. Karen, thank you for being here.
And we especially want to thank our next special guest for traveling all the way from Florida to join us today. Karen Winden is Deputy County Administrator for Manatee County, Florida, a position she's held since December 2006. Her areas of responsibility include all operational aspects of the county with a focus on public safety, emergency management, human services, information technology, natural resources, human resources, and facility management. Prior to assuming this position, Winden was the director of the Manatee County Public Safety Department and affiliated with public safety for over 25 years. She's received the CEM, Certified Emergency Manager, and Florida Professional Emergency Manager designations. She's also the past president of the Florida Emergency Preparedness Association and has been active in many facets of emergency management on a regional, state, and national basis. She's been engaged with the National Emergency Management Accreditation Program almost since its inception. I apologize, folks. And has served as an assessor, team leader, standards committee chair, commission chair, and currently serves on the executive board of the EMAP Commission. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Karen Winden.
Thank you, Justin. It really is a privilege and an honor to be here today for this milestone for the state of South Carolina, the Emergency Management Division, and of course all of the stakeholders, because we all know that no emergency management program operates within itself. It's about the entirety of the program, all of the stakeholders. As a member of the commission and a representative today, I just want to thank all of you for the work that went into maintaining the vision for not only achieving accreditation the first time, but achieving this reaccreditation. And we all know that that is not an easy thing to achieve. Accreditation is onerous, and it should be, because the profession that we have chosen is so important. It's about the safety of our citizens. It's about the ongoing sustainability of our businesses. It's about taking care of our visitors so that in any event, we can fulfill our mission of safety and security. And so that standard level, and as Justin talked about, there are 64 national standards in EMAP. Achieving those is a huge accomplishment. I think a lot of our programs have a lot of those components, but what EMAP really does is it makes us think about and document all of those things that we do on a daily basis. And that helps us as we look at the sustainability of our programs. Staff come in, staff leave, but when you have all of that information captured, when you're really looking at the program holistically, that's when you know that you have really hit that bar and done a tremendous job. My hat is off to everyone that was part of this practice. I think Director Stenson mentioned it, and he said that EMAP is the bar that raises the emergency management profession across this country. And that is so critical because I'm sure many of you have responded to disasters outside of your jurisdiction, gone on EMAC missions or mutual aid to other local areas. And by understanding those commonalities, by knowing that that standard is in place to elevate our profession is so critical to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can. Achieving this is not easy. It was onerous, it was important, but the state did it again and had that vision for other people to be able to keep that same level of program going. As I look to the folks from the local jurisdictions, hats off to the state for that encouragement to achieve SCEMD accreditation at the local level, to make sure that those programs tie together and that we're all doing things concurrently, hand in hand, and making our communities the best that they can possibly be. So from the EMAP Commission, I just wish each of you the best, the continued focus on EMAP and the standard achievement, and the ability to be safe and secure no matter what disaster should befall your community. Hopefully none, but if they do, you'll be ready for it. Thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity to present the plaque to Director Stenson. I always forget how heavy these are. So on behalf of the Emergency Management Accreditation Program Commission, I present this reaccreditation plaque that reads Emergency Management Accreditation. The Emergency Management Program of the state of South Carolina has met the emergency management standards and is accredited by the Emergency Management Accreditation Program, October 2013 through 2018. Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen, very much for coming down here and joining us today. And thank you on behalf of the State Emergency Response Team and EMD for this award, our accreditation. I can't really add anything to what's already been said, but it is very important to me personally that we've done this, and also as an organization, because it does separate us from the non-professionals out there in the world. So we do need to do that. I would like to recognize some of our good partners and friends here today. We've got Doug Bryson from Spartanburg County, who's the past president of the Emergency Management Association and who's also the current regional vice president of the International Association of Emergency Managers. Thanks for coming here, Doug. From Georgetown County, who is the current president of the Emergency Management Association, and thank you, Sam, for being here. We've also got Suzanne Peoples, who is the president-elect for the South Carolina Emergency Management Association, and she's from Hampton County, and appreciate you being here as well, Suzanne. So the entire leadership of the Emergency Management Association was willing to come down here today, or up here today, depending on, I guess Sam came up from down in Georgetown, but we do appreciate it, and having you here means a lot. The other individual I'd like to recognize is Rebecca Shimza from the governor's office, who is a close partner with us and has been working with us ever since Governor Haley took over here a couple of years ago, and we thank you for being here as well today. I know at least since I've been here, the emergency management program has matured incredibly, certainly in the last decade, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Certainly not anybody from the association, I don't think, would disagree with that. But it takes a team to do that, and in this particular case, when we had to go through 64 evaluated areas, it took the EMD team pulling together to make sure that all happened. It's pretty obvious that you can't do that by yourself. It's just impossible. But I want to thank everybody at EMD for all the hard work that they've done, not only getting through this process, but just the day-to-day support to the counties and how we operate. So thanks very much for that. However, there's one person in particular that I do need to point out, and that's our accreditation manager, and that's John Berzins. John, we brought back from retirement. John, he was willing to come back, and he did it the first time and went through and got it all organized and went through the implementation process. And he did such a good job that we decided that maybe we can talk him into coming back and working on a part-time basis. So I think, John, this is your last day, but I'm not sure, is it? But keep your date card open because we'll probably be asking you to come back in 5 years. So just kind of do that. So, but do appreciate that and appreciate everybody that's come in today. We've got a few members of the CERD in here as well, willing to come by and see this. So do appreciate that. And at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Justin, and we'll continue on. And thanks very much.
At this time, we honor the dedication of our SCEMD family through the presentation of EMAP pins. These pins symbolize both the teamwork of those here today and the individual efforts made by each and every one of you. We thank you all for coming together and allowing the division to achieve such heights. And at this time, I will ask Major General Eisner, Mr. Stenson, and Karen Winden to join me in the presentation of the EMAP pins. And for directions for all of you, we will award the pins by section. So when a section is called, I ask the section chiefs to come forward, followed by each person in that section. When I call your name, come forward to collect your pin. Everybody got it? Okay. We'll start off with the executive group, led by our Chief of Staff, Stephen Batson. This way. This way. Please enter through this side. Barbara McDaniel, please come forward. And let me go through this one again, just so everybody's got it. We'll go by section. Your section chief will come up first, and we'll enter in through this side. And please come forward as I call your name. Everybody got it? All right. And you shake the order of the hands as we go down. Okay. The next section, led by Director of Public Information, Joe Farmer. Also representing the Public Information section, Derek Becker. And of course, my colleague, Howard Van Dyke. We'd also like to recognize the Finance and Administration section, led by Mo Denny.
That's right. Everything we lost on resources.
Also from the Finance and Administration section, we'd like to recognize Ramona Watford. Darlene Erskine. And Deborah Dawson. The next section that we would like to recognize is the logistics section, led by Mike Eliff. Mike, you look different. Leading the logistics section, Alex Smith. We'd also like to recognize Jamie Blair, Deneen Lewis, Dennison Coomer, Shauna Rett, Tim McCord, and Michael Gilpatrick. Also from the logistics section, we'd like to recognize Brandon Davis. Bill Willis. Lee Knight. Samantha Knight. Kelly Huff. Carol Evans. Robin Ellis. Matthew Crook. And Betty Steele. Yes. Okay. Let's move into the plans section, led by Plans Manager Ken Braddock. We'd also like to recognize Dave Harbison, Francis Tubolino, Tammy Drewer-Wells. We'd also like to recognize from the plans section Melissa Potter and Charlotte Foster, as well as Louis Walter, Sharon Lynch, Lorraine Dillon, and of course an extra special recognition for John Berzins. Following the plans section, we'd like to recognize the operations section, led by Chief Mike Russell. We'd also like to recognize Tim Murphy, as well as Randy Jenkins. I'm not sure how many of our REMs are here today, but Scott Yarborough, David Garner, Pat Patterson. I know Pat's here. Bethany Morton, Aaron Johnson, Jim Moore, Russ Feaster, Jim Grant, Greg Hazelden, Nicholas Thorpe, and Gretchen Burt. From the operations section, we'd like to recognize those in the F&F section. Johnny Thomas, Lee Jackson, Kendall Kretschmar, Corey Moe, Sean Nunez, and Daryl Gordon, as well as Lee Jackson. And last but certainly not least, we'd also like to recognize the recovery section led by Chief Elizabeth Ryan. In her absence, we'd like to recognize Janine Stevenson, as well as Katie Norris. Was there anyone that I missed that's a part of EMD? Okay. How about giving yourselves a round of applause? You certainly earned it. I ask that for the pin presentation, you three be seated. Okay. And at this time, I'd also ask you to join me in welcoming SCEMD Chief of Staff Stephen Bath.
Today, the EMAP accreditation process is a voluntary process. And after achieving that accreditation in 2008, the EMAP standards improved and increased in difficulty and complexity. So when we faced the challenge of whether or not to go through the voluntary process this year, the decision was made and led by Kim as the director, and really helped to kind of spearhead and well, actually the point of decision making was as chief of staff, really deciding to choose to move this division forward and attempt to meet all of the standards associated with accreditation and documenting all of that information. So it is with that extra push, that extra nudge to continue on and to make sure that all of our processes that we are currently taking part in were thoroughly documented to meet all the EMAP accreditation standards and assessment criteria were clearly documented. We want to certainly thank Kim for that extra push, that extra guidance and leadership, and a group of us here got together and wanted to at least say thank you as an appreciation as we look at the fruits of our labor here, the finish line. We wanted to say thank you. So Kim, if you could come up for a presentation of a gift.
All right, I didn't tell him to do this.
No. Again, on behalf of the division, we just wanted to say thank you for your leadership and pushing us in this direction to where we can achieve the distinction that we receive here today.
Okay, thank you. Should I open it or or should I save it?
I believe that's a requirement to open it.
Okay, good. Now, hope I don't get graded on this. All right, it's getting the best of me. Oh, that's very nice. Well, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Closing, as you reflect on the magnitude of this distinction, we know all of you will continue the same hard work, passion, and dedication that has allowed us to achieve such heights. We're also reminded of the importance of the work that we all do to protect the lives and property of the people of South Carolina. Let's also remember the emphasis that should be placed on teamwork, not just within our division, but the essential partnerships with our local and federal neighbors. Partnerships that guide our division during the times of disaster. I thank you all very much, and I'd also ask you to join me in one last round of applause for everybody that participated today. And I think that someone else deserves an extra round of applause, and that's Karen for making the flight here from Florida to Charlotte and making it here on time. So Karen, another round of applause. And now the moment everybody's been waiting for. Where's Barbara? She's back there. Are you ready to cut the cake? We've got the cake in the back. Yeah? Now, we're the Emergency Management Division. We've got the media here, so we have to be careful not to create a stampede for the cake. So as long as you can do that in an orderly fashion, refreshments and the cake are in the back. And I thank you again so very much for being here today.
What station did you work for?
For the Fox station.
I thought you had said that. You did 8 of them.
Okay, 8 pins. Sure.
Oh, the competition for the corner piece.
That goes to Stenson.
So Mo, he's getting a shot of your face, and look what he had to do with the camera to get up there.
Got here.
Oh, you went to the graduation? How'd it go? He's really good. Look, aliens.
We just hold the flag.
Yeah, just hold the flag and pose for a picture right here with me. Ready? And in 3, 2, 1. Paparazzi shot.